Hi guys, quick update here for YouTube for the stock market and Bitcoin and a few other things. It's 5th of May 2023. Before we start, if you want to join the group, everything's here. We've got the group on the second tab here. If you want to pay in crypto, everything's there. This is the educational course, very good feedback as you would expect. And there's a mini version of that. And then of course here we have the mortgage amortization course. I believe it's $30 and you basically get access to the spreadsheet and everything is there. If you want to pay via crypto for any of these products, just get in touch via the Facebook page. Now, there's quite a few interesting things going on here. I want to start off by having a look at regional banks. To me, this bottomed about a month ago at 7. They've been very they've gone here for a second time here. If we have a look at the volume, still pretty high, but to me, that's a low there now. That could be a fifth wave truncation. You could bend that and read that as a 1-2. It's probably a fifth wave truncation with this move down here being a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So best case scenario, didn't quite take out this low, but they've come back once more to run to test the supply in this candle here. There was obviously quite a lot of buying between 30 and 40. So to me, that is now a low. So how do we know if this is the low? Well, firstly, it needs to get a move on and move up out of it. If you have a look at the 5-minute chart, you could read that as a 1, read that as a 2. So if it has bottomed here, once again, the actual low was down here. I never thought it's even mathematical possible for Western Alliance to trade below 7.46. I mean, it's trading at a 0.7 book. And we have dividends. Well, it's going to go ex-div here next week, and it's a 0.36 dividend. So people are going to buy this for the dividend. 5% yield, 2 over price over earnings, and 0.7 book. So there's 4,000 regional banks. It's not possible for all of them to go bankrupt, okay? The ones that go bankrupt are the ones with dodgy clientele, over leveraged, and quite risky behavior. Western Alliance, I don't think is one of them. So I think it's bottomed. That's a fifth wave truncation. How are we going to know? Well, it needs to get a move on and start repairing some of this market. To me, this is going to go to, I would say, 50 by Labor Day. So this is more of a 3-month kind of swing trade. I'd say it's a very good chance it can go to 50, fill out this gap and fill out this gap eventually. It might take about 3 months to get there. Like I said, they're going to be going ex-div here. So anyone who buys before the before the record date there on the Thursday, so you have to buy by Wednesday basically, close of business New York time, you basically get access to that dividend which gets paid at the end of the month. So from a dividend perspective, there'll be buyers, there'll be bottom fishers here, and here what they've done, they've just gone back one more time, but I think it's bottomed. KRE itself is still looking a bit dodgy, but there's a good chance we can get some kind of, at least a bit of a oversold bounce. I think Pac West is a little bit dodgy. I think that also could have made a good low, but I think Western Alliance is one of the better ones. And if you zoom out enough, technically that's that's the end of the pattern. You could read all of that. It's just a straight ABC down, right? Of which truncated here. Fifth wave truncation 535. So best case scenario, that's a 1, that's a 2, and obviously we've got 3, 4, 5. This is very, very long-term count. That would be on the cycle degree, okay? So that's Western Alliance. Now, Pepe's really interesting. I've got Pepe on another screen here. We caught a 2x, 2.5 going up to a 3x move in Pepe. You have to be very quick with meme coins like this. Bitcoin's done nothing the last couple of weeks, if not a month. Now, to me, something was going on last weekend, so we caught in the group the initial move down to here, 2x got back in here, sold here. Now I think it's approaching a top here pretty soon. We have the Bitcoin conference 18th and 20th. You could start to read that as the 1, that as the 2, possible 3, 4, and now we're going to go into a 5. So I think it's getting close. It's probably not shortable just yet, although there was reason to believe if we shake out pattern, swing failed this high, then we could have done. We're not quite doing that just yet. We back tested this high, and now we're running for this high. So sooner or later, this is definitely going to top. It might just be a little bit higher here. As you can see, we've got some alerts, and I think there's one more push up here before Pepe goes on. So we caught that in the group. I think a lot of people are pretty much in profit now. So that's why there's not a lot of selling pressure, because everyone's probably removed by now their initial position and they're playing with house money. So when you're playing with just your profits, you can't really lose anything. Even the ones who are late to the party here, they're still getting a bit of return on their investment. But I think it is going to peter out here pretty soon. So that was a good trade that we caught in the group. So that's Western Alliance. That's Pepe. Bitcoin. So I mean, it's not really doing a lot. If it's bearish, why is it not falling apart? And likewise, if it's bullish, why is it not moving up? This is the interesting thing here on the daily chart. Is this move down here? You could read that as the end of a 335 flat. So A, B, C, right? So all of this was effectively a form of a contracted, almost expanding flat, right? In which case, everything following that, because you're not allowed to have two fives next to each other in Elliott wave, unless, of course, the first five is ending something and the next five is starting something. So to me, that's definitely 5 down. This is also possibly 5 up. So you could read that as a 1, that as a 1, 2. And now we're doing a series of 1-2s, and we're going to break higher, run this high, go to 32, 36k. The problem is, if that's not a flat and it's not a continuation, this could be a 5 down, in which case that's an impulse, either A or 1. And then all of this is some very bizarre looking correction. That to me looks like 5 waves. So I suppose, you'd have to force that into an A, some kind of B, C into here, and now we're doing a 1-2 down. So either we're doing a 1-2 up or a 1-2 down. So that's why there's been some, debate as to what is the count. If it's a 1-2 down, then of course this can only be an A, B, C, or a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. In any case, I think if 25k breaks, then we're going to have some issues, and a real break, not just a little swing fail, shake at power and S curve, and then we do this. A proper break retest, we're going to end up filling the gap down here on the futures. I believe it's around 20,000. Here. Right, so either you're a 1-2 up, 1-2 down, but if that can still be an ABC flat though. I'm not seeing much of this count, if at all. So, and that it technically is still a diamond continuation pattern. Also, was there a level of euphoria at 30k? I don't think so. So if you read that as just an ABC, then it's a double zigzag, isn't it? So 5 into here, ABC flat. This might still happen. There are still targets up here, by the way, which we've established on various YouTube videos going back a few months. And if you take a 1-to-1, let's just say hypothetically this is the count, that still gets you towards 40k. So it's very frustrating, as we would expect. So is the S&P, right? I thought it was a lost decade a year ago. This is more like a lost century. This has never happened before. We're not used to this. We've had 13 years of generally trending markets, right? No one likes the market like this. It's not an investing market. For the next decade, everything's a trade. So we're hoping this comes to some resolution. I cannot believe it's still going sideways. Now, we have the debt ceiling issue on the 1st of June, so we'll have to wait and see. The Fed have now raised again. I was quite surprised because I'm looking for a cut, because every time they cut, the market tends to crash. So obviously, we're not really set up for that. Maybe they do an emergency cut if the US defaults on its debt, which is still possible. So still there's a possibility of that being an A, a B, and then a C. Yeah. So we're still looking for this move down, but very frustrating. Index investing, which we haven't really spoken about index investing for over a year. It's very much a lost decade here, minimum. This could go sideways for about 20 years, up and down, up and down. So very frustrating here on the index level. But that's why Bitcoin, because it is still so correlated to the S&P, is not quite frustrating here. We've gone over the long-term count, what we think is the long-term count. There's law of diminishing returns, right? 5 years ago, I thought that was the 5. If that's not the 5, that's definitely the 5, right? So, we've gone over the long-term count. Is that all of this is now correcting everything. So it's a super cycle correction, assuming that 69k was the end of a super cycle. Yeah, doesn't mean, so we're going to be here for a while exploring all of this range, right? So I was thinking initially, maybe a couple of months ago, we end up doing some kind of flat. We do take out 69k, then we end up doing something like this. This was my base case. I was forecasting something like this on the S&P. I cannot believe the S&P has gone sideways for this amount of time. So I think long-term, Bitcoin's very much in a... it's silly to say it's in a 3k, 69k range, but it is. I don't see this going to 100k anytime soon. So you've just got to look for the opportunity. And if that means going into Coinbase, Western Alliance, Pepe, then that's what you have to do. You have to trade the market you have. Keyword there being trade. Everything is a swing trade for the next 10 years, easily. Now, so there's not really much to say. You can't say... we've gone over this before, apparently all of that is a 1, and then the 3, 4, 5 is up here, and this is now another 1, 2, smaller degree. I just don't think that's going on. This was the perfect bubble. Everyone was forced to trade, locked down in their bedroom, and they were given monopoly money. So how can that not be a bubble? Everything ends in a bubble, right? So this is now undergoing a very, very long-winded, complex correction. So, doesn't mean it can't go higher. I'm not disputing 40k, but that's why it's in a very complex correction, as is the S&P. So don't expect Bitcoin to forecast the price to be easy. That's why we cover it twice a week. Anyway, but yes, I think eventually, though, we are looking for more, favorable long-term investment prices, which obviously would be down here. Just like the S&P, we're looking for sub 3k. Does that happen this month? The way the S&P is moving, it's never going to happen. But we are looking for more favorable investment prices. This is still a trading range, sideways range, yeah. So when Bitcoin gets into here, then it's looking very tasty, as are many of the altcoins. So you got to take what you can get, and if that means buying Pepe, then fine. But you got to be quick. So that's what we do in the group. You just got to be very quick to the draw there. Now, Coinbase, I believe, so the target was around 2100. I still have issues with this Ethereum. To me, it's topped. We were out by, I believe we were out, and it's documented on the Facebook group, we were out by $20, right? So, that is currently beneath resistance. So this is not bullish. And that looks impulsive. And an impulse gives you the direction of the trend. So this can do what it likes. Ultimately, it's underneath resistance. We were $20 short off the target. It should have gone a little bit higher and formed an RTH, but it didn't. So to me, it's beneath resistance. The Bitcoin dominance is likely to go up. So this will eventually falter off and go down. So I don't really have a lot to say on Ethereum. I don't think it's a good investment right now or a good trade. There is a trend line here, which we said, I believe it's around 1300. Yeah, I suppose one could buy that there. Does it go into a more complex correction, a bit of an ABC? Either way, I don't see anything for Ethereum. The 50% of the entire range is, let's have a look, 1361 lines up with the trend line. So to me, Ethereum eventually wants to go down to here. I don't think there's much to do. I don't see this randomly shooting up to 2500 anytime soon. So there's not much to say on Ethereum there. And linked to that is obviously the Bitcoin dominance. I'm still very bullish on this. This is a very dangerous chart. 1 day range, 1 week range, a month range, 6 month range, you can mess with those kind of ranges, but you don't want to mess with a 2-year range. And surely that's going to break up. Once again, an impulse gives you the direction of the trend. Surely that looks impulsive. So the altcoins are going to have a very hard time here as we break up out of it. It's taking its time, but effect is proportional to cause. That's a 2-year cause. So for this to happen on the dominance, I would give that a 0% probability. So eventually, the altcoins are going to have a huge move down here in their BTC pairings. This wants to go to here. Following on that from here. So that is a huge move percentage-wise, right? We know that there's not a lot of volume here. So that is a gigantic move in the dominance. I think an altcoin season will be here, but we need to see 55, 60% dominance. Only then can we have a nice altcoin season. So this further helps to confirm Ethereum, USD, it's not really going to do much. And unfortunately, Ethereum, BTC, I'm very much bearish on that. I don't think this head and shoulders will play out. But, technically, right, you can have slanted head and shoulders, right? So if you're stuck, then you draw a line. Lines are the best way to understand what's going on, right? They're like polarized sunglasses, help to see everything a lot more clear. Is that a very strange slanted head and shoulders, right? Okay. Is that where it wants to go? Then end up going down to here. So I'm not very bullish on this at all. Maybe a few months ago, it was forming a nice little 1-2 pattern here. That's effectively broken down. So still looking for a big pump in the dominance here. And, following on from that, as we know, as we have established many, many times, when Bitcoin dominance goes up and Bitcoin goes up, you want to be holding Bitcoin. But when Bitcoin dominance goes up and Bitcoin goes down, you want to be holding stables, okay? So unfortunately, sideways, not a lot of decent price action there. We're looking for the next trend. It could be up and it could be down. That's just the way this market is. Unfortunately, you can't have any clear cut, more than a couple of weeks, couple of months. You could have multiple counts here until the end of this decade. This is not an investing market. We covered Baba only recently for a group member. I don't see this high getting taken out ever again. So that's how bad this situation is. Some of these stocks, that will never get taken out ever. That's a 1,000 trillion year top. Yet there's people in here who are stuck in Alibaba. And, at best, you'll get the gap. So it's a very difficult market. We've not seen a market like this. None of us have, since the 70s, really. But obviously, not many people watching this video were really trading or investing back then, probably. So, stocks like Alibaba, I don't really have high hopes. I mean, technically, that's an inverted head and shoulders there, but you'll need a dollar to really drop for that to go anywhere. So very much a trade. Everything is a trade until the end of the decade. So is anything else? How much time we're on? 18 minutes, right? So we'll quickly move through. XRP always seems to come back to us, doesn't it? This is a fascinating chart on the long term. Still, we've been bearish from this. We caught this pump here. Kind of jumped halfway up, which is fine. You can FOMO in as long as you understand where the price wants to go. So we caught a 33% move there. Obviously wants to run these stops, and I think it's going to come back all the way to the other side of range, which basically means to run this stop and this stop here, and that's where it gets interesting. So I'm still short-term bearish XRP here, but I accept once it gets down to here, I think there's some great potential for this to happen. Very, very bullish targets, but I don't think it's going to happen from here. I've seen a YouTube video recently, I won't mention the name, and I believe they have a count something along the lines of, that's a leading diagonal 1 into a 2, and it's imminent. I don't think so just yet. To me, the count is that was the end of the super cycle 1. That's a W, that's an X. And now this is all part of a dodgy looking 5-wave, expanding leading diagonal kind of 5 or a, Y. So a C, either 5 or 3 off a Y or a C. So one more push up, run these stops, and then you've got a super cycle complete. And that's 6 years of cause. So that sets up a huge move potentially. So XRP is definitely one to watch. I think this year XRP is going to bottom and form a major low that could potentially kick off a huge bull market there on XRP. None of these coins are really doing anything though. It's quite a difficult time, so you've got to know where to look. Anyway, I think we can wrap it up there. Finally, Qs. Yeah, very difficult investing here on the indexes here. Very, very difficult. It's 5 stocks who are basically propping up this entire market. And we've spoken about this level just like we have on the let's just cover the S&P. So we've spoken about this for a long, long time, that, there's still the potential of a bullish count, and we want to run these highs. The other count we have is just, it's a bunch of X's, or that's an A into here, that's the A. So right, I don't know how many times I need to click that, and that's a 1, 2. Now that is a near 99% correction of this move here. Technically that is still valid, but it needs to collapse imminently. If that doesn't happen, and the regional banks start bouncing here, which I think that they will do as soon as today, then we go to 43, then we come back down. So on the Qs, it's the same level. It's effectively the stops above here from August, right? And we're very close. And this to me is a bit of a wedge. And wedges are not bullish, are they? Rising wedges are bearish. So it's very frustrating. Everyone's quite frustrated by that. Even with that being said, it's been a very profitable quarter because of AGIX and FET and all the AI coins that we were looking at here. I mean, they're getting very tasty. The problem is, they're not quite ready yet. I don't know why TradingView has an alert there, right there, to tell everyone where the damn targets are. It's quite frustrating when you open up a new tab here. Obviously, these are not the charts which I share with the group. You'll have to join the group for that. So I actually delete the last video. I was giving away too much information. Viot, yeah, that's not one which we've been in. Orion chain, yeah. I mean, they're still lower targets, but I think the AI coins can eventually make a recovery back up again. I mean, I've got a $9 price target on here. And I made that call when it was here. So $9 or 90 cents, it doesn't matter. It went up. It was a good call. So, if all of that is a 1, yeah, obviously that can't now be, that can't be a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 anymore, because it's gone on for way too long. So if that's a cycle 1, that's a cycle 2. Potentially these AI coins have another rally back up, but the Bitcoin dominance is looking way too strong, and that's the thing. It's not the USD side of things, it's the XBTC. If X is the altcoin, and that's the problem here that we're having with the altcoins, the XBTC is really struggling, and that's just a few of them, and they look very, very bad. None of them look good. And I think Litecoin BTC we covered recently. That looks very, very bad, and that's the problem. Everyone's waiting for another altcoin season, because that's where the money is made. There won't be any real money made in Bitcoin until it goes, below 12k. Only then can you get 6-7x move out of it. So that's the problem here, unfortunately. Anyway, I'm going to wrap it up there. If you want to join the group, everything's there. We've got various courses here, educational courses with very good feedback, as you would expect. And you can have a look through my previous calls, various calls on there. I don't think I need to repeat the calls that have been made. And I'll catch you guys on the next video.